what I want to do is to talk about a number of things where the way things that I've been thinking and reading about the Holocaust that go beyond the personal and the clinical, but I'll then relate it to the Holocaust. The Holocaust Center is hosting a lecture by Meirav Michaeli, who is the granddaughter of Kastner. And that evoked a lot of thought for me. I intend to go to the lecture. And it goes back to one of the first questions you asked me, and that is about how did I become aware of the Holocaust. Now, her grandfather, Kastner, was put, it's called in Hebrew Mishpat Kastner, the trial of Kastner, which is not correct. Somebody accused him of collaborating with the Germans, with the Nazis, and he took a liable against that man. But the way the court case was managed and handled, it became known as the Kastner trial. Now that was in 1954, I think. And since 1954, I've been reading and following the story and its complexity. And until today, I find and discover new things that I did not know. Why do I choose to talk about it? One, because here is an example of an issue to do with the Holocaust that has followed me since 1954. Now, what's the key, the heart of the story? The heart of the story is that the lower court in Israel, the Jerusalem court, judges Kastner to, and the words were that he sold his soul to the devil, that he was a collaborator and he sold his soul to the devil. The devil specifically was Eichmann. That's one view of Kastner. The other view of Kastner is that probably, arguably, no human being saved more life during the Holocaust than this man. Is he a hero or a villain? And it is debated with great intensity, with toxicity, until today in Israel. Until today.
And here too.
And here too. Now, and that's therefore a wonderful example. Why? One, because one, the Holocaust created dilemmas in our own mind, in our own thinking, in our own hearts, which are impossible questions, as it were. I have my own view of it, but I won't talk about it. What I do want to talk about is that conflict in Israeli society and in everywhere else where it's being looked at repeats itself in the heart of mind of many survivors, that they are struggling. Am I a hero or am I a villain, or both? And that happens in lots of families where they are conflicted about how to see and how to view. And therefore, and the other thing is, for me, because very often you don't know how to think about things, one of the way of dealing with it is not to think. My own view is that when you are confronted with the dilemmas of life and of survivors, you ideally should keep at all time an open mind. But open mind doesn't mean not being interested. You should continue to be curious and interested as well as.
For me, dealing with something like that, it's for me it's suspending judgment.
Yeah.
It's not for me to be in a place of judging.
Mm-hmm.
And there were dilemmas and choices that were made.
Mm-hmm. But you see, even that is, what you just said is a problem. What is the problem? I want to agree with you, but there is in me always the but. The but is, if you suspend judgment, then you never have judgment, you never make a moral judgment. When do you put judge within context, and when do you say it has no context?
Okay. Take the one which is not discussed. Talk about Jewish policemen in the ghetto.
My cousin in Israel made a movie last year for Yom HaShoah about one of the couples in Eichmann. And that couple saved a huge number of lives. But I'm saying, even at the deepest level, it's a huge issue, for me at least, between suspending judgment, or is it appropriate to suspend judgment, or is it appropriate to be careful in your judgment, but to never to judge means you have no moral compass at all? That's a big...
Very big question. How do I know what I would do in that situation?
That's a separate question.
I would like to say I wouldn't do it.
Okay, that's a different thing. You could say, it's a different thing. You could say, what that person did, to the best of my ability to judge, is wrong, but I'm not sure that I would not do the same at the same time. That's a different thing. That's a judgment of a different level, as it were. It's a wonderful debate. But maybe I'll leave it at that, as it were. That one of the things about the Holocaust is that it has generated debates and conflict and controversy, and many of them cannot be resolved. And as far as I'm concerned, the debate is a very healthy debate. The unfortunate part is that voices get raised and that the two voices are not being heard, as it were, and we go into being extremist. Maybe I should add what happened to Kastner. The lower court judged him to be sold his soul to the devil, and the Supreme Court in Israel found him innocent of 4 of the 5 charges. But before the court judgment is being announced, he gets murdered, he gets killed by 3 Israelis who are being put in jail for that. And I'm looking forward to Sunday, where I'm going to ask, if I have a chance, his granddaughter, what happened, because there were conversations between her mother, Kastner's daughter, and the murderer, the killer. They met and they talked, and I believe that he asked her to talk to her privately too, and they had private conversations. And last I heard, it was still private. And what interests me is does she know, and is she willing and able to tell the story? That's a meeting and a conversation between the man who shot her father and herself. The Holocaust creates situation that if you have her, it stands up.